And we're back with another unboxing, this time with the OnePlus 11 in Titan Black with a case to go with it, but this time it's a OnePlus case, the Sandstone Black. So let's go ahead and take a look at this phone. All right, so let's get into this unboxing. We have the case here, and then we have the, I don't know if I want to call it infamous or famous red box of the OnePlus 11. Here you have OnePlus with Hasselblad, the working combination for the cameras. You have the OnePlus 11 logo right there, a little QR code right there, not sure where it leads to. And then again, your logo down there, and then nothing on the bottom. And on the other side, of course, you have your information, your IMEI. Here you can see we got the 16 gigabyte version in black with 256 gigabytes of storage. So one thing I want to note right away is look at the size comparison to the recently unboxed S23 Ultra. Look at that size comparison. Come on, Samsung. I know the days of getting a charger are over, but I'm glad that OnePlus is one of the few still providing that charger. And on top of that, keep in mind the pricing. So I ended up paying $350 for this device. After a trade-in, I did trade in, or I am going to be trading in, the OnePlus 10 Pro. So I got $500 worth of value for this phone. So I figured, why not? I'm probably not gonna get that value ever again. So might as well get rid of it and get the newer version for $350. Versus, I didn't mention this, I think I might have mentioned it in the video, but I paid around $670 for this device, and I traded in the S22 Ultra, but this was also valued at $500. Come on, Samsung. OnePlus definitely killed it this time around for the trade-in values and for the pricing in general and what you're getting here, as we'll see when we're unboxing it. So without further ado, without all the rants and complaints, let's just go ahead and open this up. So just slice that there, and then slice this one there. So hopefully that should just pop right off. Let's see. Nice. Okay, never settle. And here you get some paperwork. So welcome, quick guides, safety guides. Oh, look at that. Some stickers. So I can put on my S23 Ultra and be a troll. And what is this? A USB-A to USB-C adapter. Very nice. Okay, did not expect that. So let's put this stuff to the side. A nice welcome surprise. I thought for a second we were about to get a case in here, and I was like, are you kidding me? I got this one. Oh, and by the way, I did get the case free as well. If you ordered it from the app, it came with a free gift, which was a case. Look at this SIM ejection tool just chilling there. It might have fallen out from that black little container that contained my quick guides and whatnot. So there you go, SIM card ejection tool, because this is a dual SIM card compatible device. Here we have the device. So you just pull this up, and just like last year, ooh, look at that. It's very, very nicely lightweight. It's not heavy. It feels, with the paper on, somewhat comfortable. I'm sure this just slides right off, doesn't it? No, maybe not. We'll put this aside real quick. So here we also get, how do you, there's a little piece of paper right here that you grab, pulls right off. There you go. Your charger, which comes dirty, a little speck of something. But it is a fast charger, I believe, capable of 80 watts, which is better than last year's 10 Pro for here in the US. It is USB-A, unfortunately, which kind of surprised me. I thought USB-C was the way to go, but yeah, USB-A here. But it does provide slightly faster charging speeds, which is awesome. And then you get your cable, which again is awesome. Red and famous. I keep wanting to say infamous, but maybe it is infamous. I don't know. But USB-A to USB-C for your charging brick there. And red, as OnePlus goes. So then putting all of this stuff aside here, taking a look at the phone. That, only time you'll ever see this display so clean. In the back, oh, shows my IMEI there. Let me go ahead and rip that off. Look at that. This is a very different material from the OnePlus 10 Pro, but it feels kind of nice. Actually, I don't know how I feel about the feeling of the back here. It feels kind of, it's got some texture to it, you can hear that, but look at that, it's leaving my nails scratching it there, but it comes off with a little bit of a clean. What do you guys think about that camera array? The circular array or setup. It's not even a circular setup, it's just a circular camera bump instead of a squared looking camera bump. So there's definitely some small things that they've changed as far as like the look of it, but I feel like for the most part it's relatively similar to last year's. You still got your volume rocker over here. You still got your mute switcher, which I never tried a 10T. I know it disappeared for a little bit there, but you still got your power button over here, and like I said, your mute switcher. Then your cameras, USB-C at the bottom, your SIM card slot, dual SIM card slot, dual fire and speakers, and it looks like an IR blaster, doesn't it? I don't know what that is, but kind of looks like it. Hello. So I'm gonna take a look at the case here real quick. It's a Sandstone case. I wanted to get the armored fiber, I think is what it was called. How do you open this? I'm just gonna rip it, honestly. Oh, there's a piece of tape down there. Let me go ahead and grab my knife. Okay. I don't know if OnePlus cases are meant to be nice or if they're just typical cases. So, oh, didn't like that sound. Feels kind of, I want to say similar. No. This is definitely a more rougher texture compared to the actual phone. I don't know how I'll feel with that texture. It does provide some grippiness, which is pretty good. So if you want a somewhat thin case, as you can see it's pretty thin, and represent OnePlus still, it's a pretty decent case. I'm just gonna use it for now. Usually I get speaking cases, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this boy up. Some common specs you should probably know about is I guess it's got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, 16 gigabytes of RAM, as I mentioned, 256 gigabytes of storage, and that's pretty much the main base specs. But so let me go ahead and set this up and we'll talk about this in just a little bit. So after about under an hour, I think I've been using it, playing with it, checking it out, doing small things. Some things that jump out at me right away are, one is going to be the haptics. They are slightly, if not a decent amount better than the OnePlus 10 Pro. Right now I'm just comparing it to the OnePlus 10 Pro because it's the predecessor. Technically the 1T or 10T is, but no, I had the 10 Pro. So compared to the 10 Pro, the haptics do feel a little bit stronger and nicer and crisp. So I gotta give it to OnePlus on the haptics there. It does feel overall pretty good. The next thing is gonna be the speakers. Same thing as the S23 Ultra, how the speakers were slightly better than the S22. These definitely sound a little bit louder and the bass just sounds a little bit better as well. So speakers also sound just a bit better. They're, again, not bad on the 10 Pro, but these definitely sound just a bit better. And the next thing I noticed that stuck out to me was the camera quality, or camera tuning, I should say. So for one, the quality did change a little bit. You can see here in my face, I don't know if you can see through the camera here, but basically there's just a little bit more detail, I feel like, on my face here. You can definitely see the exposure difference there. But overall, the tuning just looked a little bit different on the back side. On the front side, I think the quality looks a little bit better. I mean, you can definitely see it was able to keep the background exposed. It just completely overexposed it on the 10 Pro over here. You can't see anything that's going on in the background, versus here, I'm pretty decently exposed, and then the background's decently exposed to the point that you can actually see what's behind there. And then if you look at the back end here, you can see a little bit difference in color. So for one, there's no longer a 3.3x telephoto like there is on the 10 Pro. It's now just a 2x, I believe. But either way, the tuning of the color is just a little bit different, where on the 11, you can definitely see the difference there. I don't know if it's the display that's just showing a difference. I have them both on vivid mode right now, so I'm not sure if that's what's causing the difference here, but you can definitely see the difference in color. And what I see in real life is kind of mixed between the both. So the grass really isn't this like red and dark, or yeah, like reddish, whereas over here is more greenish. It's closer to what I'm seeing in real life, but the sky is definitely around this color versus the bluish color being showcased here on the 10 Pro. So slightly different tuning when it comes to the color. Same thing with the fence here. It's a little bit more orange over here versus like a deeper red on the 11. And it's definitely closer to that deeper red versus that orangey color. Over here in like a low light situation, they looked kind of similar. They performed relatively the same. I feel like the 11 did a little bit better at getting the focus right. But otherwise, you know, again, here you can see the difference in the color tuning, where the wall actually was that kind of color. It is a bit yellow, especially with the lighting that's being used in that room. The wall is definitely more of a yellowish tone, and the red is definitely closer on the 11 as well. It's more of a deep red versus a more lighter exposed red here. So definitely a bit of a difference when it comes to the tuning. Again, here, let's see. You can definitely, in my opinion, see just a little bit more detail on my face compared to the 10 Pro. Even in the hair here, you can see a couple more strands of hair. It looks a little bit smoother and detailed, in my opinion, on the 11. But those are the small things I noticed thus far, because overall, both of them feel very smooth. They're both a 120 hertz display, both quad HD, but again, different processors and different amounts of RAM, and also different speeds as far as those RAM and storage as well. I believe it's like, I don't know, the 5X RAM, and then like UFS 4 or 2 or 3 compared to each other. So I'm not entirely sure what the specs are there, but overall, those are the main things that jumped out at me. The OS is pretty much exactly the same as Color OS on both of them, or Oxygen OS with a mixture of Color OS. One thing I didn't even realize that OnePlus had available, similar to the Nothing phone, which I'm going to be reviewing pretty soon, is that you can actually enlarge the folders. I don't know how I missed that on the 10 Pro, otherwise I would have definitely been using that, because the cool thing is that you can actually interact straight with the folder with the apps there. So you can have a folder here with smaller icons, and then, you know, click on them directly or interact with it and then get into your app. So, but overall, those are the small things that I noticed. As far as the design, the one thing I did notice here actually is the camera bump sticks out just a little bit more compared to the 10 Pro here. So let me take the case off. It sticks out just a little bit more. I won't focus on it, but what that means is that when you're holding it in your hand, the 10 Pro actually gives you a bit of a better grip because of that. So you can put your finger back here and it kind of holds it, versus the 10 Pro, in my opinion, because it's so small the way it comes up, when you're holding it like this, your finger's going to end up slipping across it and getting into the camera array or the flash. But either way, small difference there, but I think I like it. Even though the design is kind of weird with a circular design, but I think I like it because it definitely helps with that. But I will be using a case, so when you put a case on it, it is going to kind of get rid of that bump there. So it really won't make much of a difference. And this Sandstone case is actually pretty nice. At first, I was a little bit weirded out by it, but it makes sense now why it's called Sandstone. It literally looks like sand and a stone version, which is pretty cool. Actually, another thing I want to point out here is the texture compared to the 10 Pro. They're both glass. I believe this is Victus, and this is a form of Gorilla Glass 5 or something like that. But either way, the texture is slightly different. So on the 10 Pro, it's definitely a softer texture. I just realized I'm like still zoomed in here. But on the 10 Pro, it's more of a softer, versus here on the 11, it's more of a rougher texture. You can definitely hear it and feel it a little bit more on the 11. Minor, I think it might add a little bit more grippiness. Definitely, it can be kind of slippery, but I think I like it a little bit more than the 10 Pro's texture there. If you do get the green and the 11, it will be a glossy finish, so just keep that in mind. And one thing, like I said, I noticed earlier, is that when I scratch it with my nail, it does leave little marks there, but they do come off once you clear them off. I believe the 10 Pro actually did that too. So if I scratched it, yeah, you can see a little mark there, but just wipe it down and it's gone for the most part. But either way, let me know your questions, your thoughts, your comments. What do you want to know about the 11 versus the 10 Pro. I'll definitely be comparing the 11 against like the S23 Ultra, the iPhone and such like that. But let me know your questions about the 11 just in general. And yeah, this has been the unboxing and the first impressions. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.